Two icons, both alike in tragedy and mutual pursuits. In the ruins of Fox, where we lay our scene. Shakespeare! Deadpool and Wolverine, the poster boys of the Fox era comic book movies, fed many a child in the early 2000s with awesome nerd nonsense. Though they are different in tone and character, they are all alike in so many ways. And now that their era has largely come to an end and are being brought into this new era of the MCU, I want to take a look back at what their journey before this point was defined by. Today, I take a look at why Deadpool and Wolverine mattered. But real quick, if this seems like the content that you might like, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit me down in the comments below and let me know what were your thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Hell, what were your thoughts on the X-Men franchise as a whole, the Fox movies as a whole? Honestly, I didn't grow up with the X-Men movies, I grew up with the Deadpool movies, but to each their own. I'm watching through the X-Men movies, honestly, because all of this nostalgia made me want to go back and check those movies out. But that's a story for another day. But for now, we gotta get on with the show. So Sage, hit the title.
Listen to the pain. It's both history teacher and fortune teller. Pain teaches us who we are. Sometimes it's so bad we feel like we're dying. But we can't really live till we die a little, can we?
Throughout the Deadpool franchise, we learn just who the hell Wade Wilson is as a man. Being introduced to us as a sarcastic, nonchalant gun for hire, someone who rarely, if ever, takes anything seriously. I mean, the man was out here ordering pizzas to his target's apartment after shitting in his kitty litter. He's the guy that's cracking wise over the mass amounts of collateral damage his adventures have been causing.
The new quesalupa from Taco Bell. Get it with chicken, get it with steak, but with the cheese baked right in the shell. It's the next big thing. Go now while supplies last.
On the surface, this is a walking man-child, literal ADHD in human form. But behind all the jokes, all the fourth wall breaks, and all the 90s referential humor is someone that uses absurdity to cope with tragedy. We can blatantly see that he is somebody that laughs through the constant pain that he is in. He makes jokes about his terminal diagnosis. Even in the face of torture, he still jokes with the people that are experimenting on him.
We should really come up with a safe word, fellas. I'm thinking pork and beans. You gonna leave me all alone here with less angry Rosie O'Donnell?
Maybe it's a sign that he's absolutely lost his mind, but it might also be a sign that this is what's keeping him from just absolutely losing it in his mad world. After all the pain and suffering that he's gone through to become Deadpool, there's no other way he can cope with this situation than through comedy. Laughing is the only medicine that he can have to cope with his very messed up situation, and it's the only thing that keeps him from just absolutely crumbling to pieces. And even if he mocks the idea and makes constant light of it, Deadpool wants to be a hero. Wade has a soft spot for people. He wanted to be there for the people that he cared about. He wanted to be somebody worth something. He wanted his suffering to have been for a greater purpose. But at the same time, he knows nothing about being a true hero, to act selflessly and make sacrifices for the greater good. He doesn't know how to save lives. He knows how to fuck people up for money. That's all that he knows how to do. He knows how to make jokes and he knows how to fail upwards. How can somebody like that be a hero?
Eternity can be a curse. It hasn't been easy for you, living without time. The losses you have had to suffer. A man can run out of things to live for.
James Logan Howlett has been defined by pain and loss. The night he awakened his mutation was the day his life was forever lost. He was a kid on the run, unable to go home, doomed to outlive anyone he'd ever care about. He's seen more death and destruction than any man will ever live to see and would ever stomach to see. so he's grown numb to the violence. After a century of pain and loss, he's grown to view himself as nothing more than an animal who only knows the life of a killer. His time as Weapon X was that animal coming to the forefront, the animal that only knew the pain and violence that was its life. He was not allowed to feel, he wasn't allowed to be human, he was only meant to be an animal and do what he was instructed, until he finally breaks out and slashed his way to freedom. But without his memories and his identity, all he was the pain of Weapon X and the vague humanity that James left behind. Logan's time in the X-Men was defined by this internal struggle. The X-Men saw in him that humanity. Professor X wanted him to be something better, to be something more than what life has made him. His gifts, while only bringing him pain, could potentially be used for good. The Wolverine can be a hero, if Logan tried. But much like Wade, Logan feels like he is unworthy of all these hopes that Charles sees in him. He only sees the animal that's loved and lost more times than any man can stomach.
I don't know what Charles put in your head, but I am not whatever it is you think I am, okay?
But through it all, Logan always gets back up and he always keeps trying. Because an animal knows what it is and doesn't try and be anything else. But a man knows what he is and tries to do better.
You were an X-Man. Fuck that, you were the X-Man. The Wolverine. He's a hero in my world.
Yeah, well, he ain't shit in mine.
Deadpool and Wolverine's long-awaited meeting captured the heart of these two tortured heroes and allowed their stories to come full circle. Wolverine was finally, for a moment, allowed to be proud of being an X-Man, to wear the yellow and blue, and be the hero Charles saw in him. To let go of all of that pain, all of that suffering, all that anguish and self-loathing, and be something beyond the animal. To be the Wolverine.
I know I turn everything into a joke, but I care. I want to use that for something important. I waited a long time for this team up.
Deadpool was finally able to become a true hero, to act unselfishly and save his world, not for his own benefit or self-actualization, but because his world needed him. And for once in his life, he was finally able to be seen as something more than a joke. Both of them were able to find meaning within their lives, their pain being for a purpose. The legacy of the Fox era of movies is the legacy of Deadpool and Wolverine. They forged their own identities, they became icons in their own right, and they were able to tell their own stories outside of the big MCU bubble. And in the chaotic ruins of 20th Century Fox, Wade Wilson and Logan were able to show why their story mattered. But that's all I got today, folks, and if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit me in the comments down below and let me know your thoughts about Deadpool and Wolverine. And honestly, let me know your thoughts about the Fox era as a whole. Let me know what y'all think of this new era of Fox going forward, because you and I know damn well they are keeping these folks until they're 90. Y'all saw Robert Downey Jr., they are keeping these folks until they can't no more. But for now, I must bid you all adieu. So goodbye. Good night. Uzi time, baby. Sage out.